After a shaky start with the launch of its first hybrid system in 2020, Subaru has launched a new petrol-electric system in its also new Forester. It's better value, better performing, and more economical, but is the Forester out of the woods yet? Let's find out. For a long time, Subaru has done its own thing when it comes to design. For example, the Boxer engine, the EyeSight driver assist tech, and of course the all-wheel drive. But under the skin of this all-new body design, there's also 10% more rigidity, and on the outside, you're getting these bronze highlights on the wheels and on the cladding, a bit of a nod to the brand's rich rallying history. Around the back of the new Forester, the boot area is a pretty well-equipped place. There's 3 different ways to get into it. There's a button above the number plate here, the button on the key, and also maybe an opportunity to look a bit silly in the car park, which is this. It's really handy when your hands are full, but at the same time, if they are full and maybe you're on some unstable ground or you're in a hurry and you've got to stand on one leg as well, that might be a little bit of a challenge for some people. It's a pretty reasonable size in here. There's no storage or hardly any storage under the floor because that's almost completely taken up by the hybrid's battery system. There's some handy bag hooks here. There's an electric seat release button as well to lower those second row seats if you need to. Nice big space speaker in the back here. There's also a 12-volt power supply here as well. Overall, pretty well lit and a pretty practical rear cargo area. The Forester isn't the cheapest mid-size hybrid SUV out there, but it is pretty good value still. So while the interior of this sport model doesn't have those super fine luxury little features that you might expect on a car that costs well over $60,000, it is really practical, and it is, as the name might suggest, being the sport model, geared towards those who are focused more on using it for recreational activities. It looks to be a pretty hard-wearing interior. But other areas that the Forester Hybrid does do really well, things like the touchscreen here, which are a really practical mixture of touchscreen as well as the bigger buttons. The physical buttons are for the temperature control, and of course those really time important functions. You do get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard across the range. Sun visors which don't just block out the sun there. There's a gap here that where some sun can get in. You can open this little flap there and you have coverage across the side of your head just to avoid that extra exposure. Keep the side of your head looking young. Wireless charging in the Forester Hybrid is standard across the range, and the charging pad's right here in the centre of the console. It is hard plastic though, so phones can slide around a bit as you drive. There's USB-A, USB-C, and even an old school auxiliary plug as well. A 12-volt power socket in the middle of the console as well, and a little storage box in here, not huge but still useful. It's a good mixture of modern tech and practicality that makes the interior so much more intuitive than some other car interiors. So the new Forester Hybrid is still no rocket ship in the way of its WRX siblings, but it does have a lot more pep than the previous hybrid Foresters, and it is more powerful than the petrol variants of this current model as well, which couldn't be said for the previous generation Forester hybrids. But one of the main reasons why the hybrid drivetrain in this new Forester produces a combined output of 145 kilowatts is that the hybrid battery is about twice as big as the one that was in the previous hybrid model. This system now also has what Subaru is claiming to be a 1,000-kilometre range on a tank of fuel. The visibility from the driver's seat and even from the passenger seat is excellent, thanks to that low bonnet, thanks to these little windows at the front here that all together help you place the vehicle on the road, particularly when parking, and give you some extra confidence, especially when you combine that with the camera system as well. Given the usage of this car, particularly this model, the Sport, being very focused on active lifestyles, you might be surprised to know that there is no spare wheel. And you can also get a rear mounted spare that attaches to the tow bar. Towing as well is, for the hybrid models, a bit lighter. So this hybrid has only been rated to tow 1,200 kilos in terms of the braked trailer. So to get into a Forester Hybrid, drive away pricing in WA starts at around $52,000, and this is $62,000 drive away. And if you decide to go to the luxury, that will be around another $1,000, $63,000 drive away. Not really a cheap car, but you are getting a lot of value, dealer support. You're getting a brand that actually does have a good reputation for looking after their customers. You're getting excellent safety credentials. And while you might be stumping up a reasonable chunk of change to buy the vehicle, when you come to sell it, you can also be pretty sure that there's going to be plenty of takers for these cars when they're 2, 3, 4 years old. There's a lot of value left. There's a lot of life left in the car, even at that age. That does give people a lot of comfort. All variants of the Forester Hybrid come with a 5-star ANCAP safety rating that was awarded in July 2025. And that was based on physical testing that was done earlier by Euro NCAP. The driver monitoring system is one of the much better integrated versions of this system compared to other makes and models around at the moment. It's got a new safety system, which in an emergency, if the driver becomes unresponsive, it can bring the vehicle to a halt safely by the side of the road. Overall, the Subaru Forester is still one of the most practical, built for purpose, mid-size SUVs out there. So what do we like about the new Forester? Well, of course, the big one is there's been a huge step up in performance as well as an improvement in fuel economy. There's the proven 2.5 litre petrol boxer engine, and also it's still got mechanical constant all-wheel drive capability. What don't we like? Well, drivability really is its big ticket item because it'll take about 8 years to offset the extra cost of the hybrid against fuel savings. And secondly, the interior is functional and seems to be pretty durable, but it does lack a little bit of flair. And finally, of course, there's no spare wheel. Subaru's last hybrid attempt was really just a hybrid of ordinary and sluggish. But now, with the Forester's vastly improved hybrid system, its excellent ergonomics and its upgraded safety features, it really is easy to live with, safe, and still pretty good value.